everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger from SacredSoulEmpowerment.com, here to do your weekly angel card reading for December 4th through December 10th, 2017. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Archangel Power Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And for your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, we'll be using the Angel Answers deck by Doreen Virtue. Now, the Angel Answers deck is meant to give you some sort of clear, direct, precise answer to any particular question you might have. So formulate those questions in your head now for when we get to that part of the reading. We have a lot going on this week with Mercury retrograde, which just started on Sunday, the 3rd of December. And I figure it would be a good time to try to get some answers to your questions. Also, be sure to watch the December monthly angel card reading that is already up and posted on my YouTube channel under Colleen Lemma. And that way you get the whole overview for the month of December, the numerology energy, and some of the highlights of the astrology, along with a special message from our angels and guides. So let's take a look at your stones of choice before we talk about the astrology for the week. Now, I chose stones that were all kind of grounding as well as, I guess, focused, and again, it kind of has that direct sort of energy because of Mercury retrograde. I figured we needed some grounding stones. So the first stone of choice is hematite. Hematite is a silver stone. It's reflective, as you can see here. It's got a mirroring kind of quality to it, and hematite is very grounding and protecting. It helps to dissolve negative energy or negative thoughts, and it helps with concentration as well as focus. Your second stone of choice is pyrite. Pyrite is a gold stone, often called fool's gold. It was often something that early settlers would find when they were searching for gold, because it looks like gold, although it's actually a different mineral called pyrite. And the pyrite helps to shield one's energy. It helps to block negative energy, helps to relieve anxiety. It's also very helpful for planning and for memory recall. And then your last stone of choice, and this is a very interesting one. I found it in my pile or container of stones, and I don't think I've ever used it in this particular venue, but this is called peacock ore. And I don't know if you can see, I mean, obviously it looks like ore, but there's actually some very reflective light blue energy in the stone here. So I don't know, again, if you can see that. I'm going to tilt it a little bit here. I can kind of see the reflection in the camera, so I'm hoping that you can pick that up as well. So the peacock ore, this also helps to ground one's energy. It helps to cleanse and balance and align one's chakras. And it also helps to align one's energy within the physical body, the mental body as far as your thoughts, and the emotions of the emotional body. So again, your stones of choice for the week are the hematite, the gold pyrite, and the peacock ore. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology for the week before we get to the reading with the cards. So on Tuesday, the 5th of December, I've been talking about this for quite some time. I even mentioned it in my November Angelic Astrology article, that Chiron turns back to direct motion here on this day, the 5th of December. Now, it's been slowing down. We've felt it the whole month of November. So all of last month we were feeling Chiron as it was slowing down, which meant it was intensifying the energy of Chiron. Chiron is considered the wounded healer. He's considered the shaman. This is the planet that rules our past life wounds as well as this life wounds. And it can be very, very deep, so deep that we can't or we don't often recognize what those wounds are, but they can be physical wounds, emotional, mental, and spiritual wounds. Again, usually from previous lifetimes. It's also, again, replicated in this lifetime. So even though you're feeling the wounds now, it really relates back to the root cause within some other particular lifetime. So here we are on December 5th with Chiron turning back to direct motion at 24 degrees of Pisces. So any of you out there that have a planet or the ascendant or descendant or the midheaven, if you know what that is in astrology, if you have anything like that around 24 degrees of Pisces, you're strongly going to be feeling that. Also, those of you that have anything around 24 degrees of Virgo, Sagittarius, as well as Gemini, these are all the signs that would closely be also affected by 24 degrees Pisces Chiron. So there could be, you know, a very interesting energy on that day as it's shifting. Again, it might be bringing things up to be healed. I don't know that it's going to be set off on that day in particular, as far as, you know, sometimes a planet or the moon as it moves through the signs will set off another planet and make it seem, again, even more intense and stronger. And although this is going to be, again, a strong energy, I feel like we might even feel the Chiron moving back to direct motion as it's shifting here directions. We might even feel this a little bit later in the week, which I'll get to here in a moment. On Wednesday the 6th, now this is about Mercury, and we do have Mercury highlighted in a couple different ways this particular week. So Mercury is the planet that rules our thoughts, our ideas. It rules communication in all types of experiences. So speaking, teaching, writing, blogging, you know, creating with word and educating. This is all under Mercury's rule. Mercury recently turned retrograde on Sunday the 3rd. So it's freshly retrograde, only 3 days into it. So it's still slow moving. It hasn't picked up speed quite yet. And on the 6th of December, Mercury connects with Saturn at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, Saturn is a planet that rules focus, responsibility. It rules career. It rules karmic wounds. It rules a feeling of restriction or limitation. It rules karmic lessons. So all of these things being ruled by Saturn with Mercury connecting with it, it's going to kind of come up as far as, again, how we're thinking, what we're thinking about, how we're communicating with other people. So really pay attention to your thoughts that day. It might be totally internal for you, or again, it might be something that's expressed out with other people in some way, shape, or form. That again brings up some old ideas of feeling closed in or closed down or held back or again, restricted or limited in some way. Again, a feeling of insecurity. Saturn often deals with insecurity issues. So again, we might be, you know, thinking on a mental level, I want to say feeling, but it's really thinking on a mental level about this idea of insecurity or not being good enough or not being able to accomplish something or whatever it might be. That might come up strongly on Wednesday. Now, the interesting thing about Mercury retrograde connecting with Saturn on Wednesday the 6th is that it's already done so once on November 28th. November 28th, Mercury was still in its forward movement, although slowing down quite a bit, and it connected with Saturn at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Now again, because it's retrograde, it's connecting with Saturn at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. And then when it turns back to direct motion, yes, it's going to connect with Saturn one more time, but by then, Saturn is going to be out of the sign of Sagittarius and into Capricorn. So this happens with Mercury connecting with Saturn in Capricorn on January 12th. And that will be right after Mercury's just out of its shadow period. It went into its shadow period some time ago. And when we say shadow period, as far as Mercury coming out of its shadow period, Mercury went retrograde at 29 degrees Sagittarius. So by the time it turns back to direct motion later this month at 13 degrees of Sagittarius, we still say that it's in its shadow until it passes 29 degrees of Sagittarius, where it went retrograde. And so, of course, with Mercury connecting with Saturn at 2 degrees Capricorn on January 12th, Mercury will have just come out of its shadow period. Saturn will have been in Capricorn for only about half a month or so, not very long, and maybe 3 weeks. And so again, Saturn and Capricorn is going to be something that we'll be talking about, and actually I have talked about in that monthly December angel card reading. So, and we'll be talking about that too when it comes up a little bit later this month in our weekly reading. On Saturday the 9th, Mars moves into Scorpio. Now Mars is the planet of energy and action. Mars is the god of war, so he's kind of the warrior energy. He can rule aggression, but he can also rule assertiveness. That would be the best way for Mars to display its energy, is through being assertive and confident and courageous. The, you know, less than positive ways by being angry or aggressive, or the, you know, I'm not saying the warrior is a bad thing. It's not at all. Spiritual warrior is a good thing, but when it gets into the warrior in more of a third dimensional sense or a not so positive sense, that's part of Mars energies as well. So this is where forward movement and actions take place. And Mars being in the sign of Libra, it was kind of tough because Mars, the natural sign that Mars rules is Aries. Mars is the ruler of Aries, which is that first sign of the zodiac. Take charge, independence, you know, courage again, confidence. It's all about the me energy with Aries and with Mars. Mars, as it was in Libra for some time, Libra is about the partnership, the other person or the other people in our lives, and wanting to you know, stay balanced with balanced give and take and balanced love and affection. So Mars in that sign, although it was activating a lot of things regarding relationships, it was a little bit uncomfortable in that sign. Now on Saturday, the 9th of December, Mars moves into Scorpio. It's going to be there for a little while. I didn't write down the exact timing, but you know, we're talking about over a month's time here, and I probably mentioned it in the December monthly video as far as the timing. But Mars moving into Scorpio is going to be much more fixed, much more focused, much more direct, and that's one of the reasons why I chose the stones that I did, as far as you know, getting a clear, direct message from Spirit. Mars also rules sexuality, and Scorpio is also a sign that rules sexuality. So Mars and Scorpio can really bring up that intensity and that passion, and not just passion in a sexual sense, but it can bring up passion as well in a sense as far as moving forward on our life path, you know, being passionate about who we are and what we're here to do. So there's a deep, deep passion here with Mars and Scorpio. Scorpio energies are very mysterious and they're very deep, and again, really intense. So Mars being kind of an intense planet moving into Scorpio, an intense sign, again, our empathy is going to be highlighted or intensified. We're going to become more empathic. We're going to become more feeling oriented. We're going to become more direct, and people are going to feel energies coming from us as well. So in other words, we're going to be able to project energies a lot better. On Sunday the 10th, Mercury again, here's Mercury, still retrograde of course, and now it's positively connecting with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener, the rebel, the planet that rules the God mind energies and higher dimensional energies, and this is a positive connection. So in part on Sunday with Mercury retrograde and a positive connection with Uranus, this is like your crown chakra being open. This is like messages streaming in from higher dimensions of the universe. Being in touch with your angels and guides and their messages. Being in touch with your higher soul self and the message that your higher self brings to you. This is about inspiration and creative ideas. So really pay attention on that day to that mental realm and what's coming in. This would be a great day to channel if you're a writer or even a communicator in some way. Now the interesting thing is that along with this positive connection with Uranus, Mercury is also challenging Chiron, the wounded healer, which again just went to direct motion on Tuesday. This is why I said at the beginning here, when Chiron turns direct on Tuesday the 5th, we might still feel the intensity of the Chiron wounds as Mercury challenges it on Sunday the 10th. Now I want to say also that if we back up to Wednesday the 6th, remember I said Mercury connects with Saturn. Now remember the Saturn-Chiron squares that we were experiencing for about a year, from about the fall of 2016 through just recently, about a month ago. So again, Saturn is still in Sagittarius, that end degree of Sagittarius. So the whole week, you know, as Chiron turns direct on Tuesday and Mercury connects with Saturn on Wednesday, and by Sunday, Mercury is challenging Chiron, again, it's bringing things up on the mental level all week. The way we communicate with ourselves, the way we communicate with other people, the way we think about ourselves or our path or what we can or cannot accomplish. I mean, all these things are really going to be coming up for us this week. Also on Sunday the 10th, Venus, the planet of love, relationship, money, and finance, is going to be in a challenging aspect to Neptune. Okay, now, you know, Venus is a planet that's very beneficial. It's positive just by its very nature. Neptune, you know, it can be all about unconditional love and compassion, so it can be very positive as well. Although Neptune can also be about illusion and being confused and not seeing things clearly or not being grounded because it's the ruler of the spiritual dimension. So with Venus challenging or squaring Neptune, it could bring up challenges in relationships or challenges with money, to where something occurs that just, you know, seems to kind of usurp the money or confuse us within relationships. You know, things aren't clear, something's not clear, or something may seem to be fading away. But it could also be positive in a way, Neptune with Venus, even though it's a challenging connection, could also bring in this sense of love and feeling like this unconditional love and feeling romance and romantic, and you know, just, it's almost like wearing rose-colored glasses though, because the feeling of being in love is, you know, a very nice feeling, but sometimes we overlook some of reality, or we overlook some of the challenges within relationships, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is sometimes about wearing rose-colored glasses and not seeing the reality of things right in the moment. So since we have Mercury challenging Chiron on that very same day with Venus challenging Neptune, I want to say that there may actually be some communications with loved ones, whether they be romantic partners, family members, or even friends. There may be some challenging communications happening, but that it's going to help the relationship to grow, and it's going to help the relationship potentially to move closer together, if that in fact is meant to be. Remember, meant to be is kind of the key word, because sometimes, you know, sometimes it's time for a redirection on our path, and sometimes the relationships that we've been in seem to be, you know, they're redirecting on their path, we're redirecting on our path, and it doesn't mean that there's anything bad about the other person or bad about the relationship. Sometimes it just means that our time together is changing, you know, that we're not going to be in a same kind of relationship as we were, and that energies are redirecting, that we're each kind of moving into a, you know, into a different direction, or we're on a different path, so to speak. Now, I'm not saying that is going to happen. I'm just trying to let you know that sometimes relationships are redirected, and that's okay too. You know, everything is about unconditional love and having compassion for one another, supporting one another, no matter where we are on the path. If we can all get to that point, we'd all be better off. So let's go ahead and move into the cards here and see what the message from our angels and guides is. All right, so the first message here is Major Arcana 15. We start out right away with a powerful Major Arcana card. This one in this deck is called Decision, and it's with Archangel Jophiel. Now the message at the bottom says, release yourself from that which holds you back, a need to detox, unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. So there's that Mercury retrograde stuff that we were talking about earlier, feeling mentally challenged, you know, not feeling confident in yourself. Again, you know, as it says, it's a need to detox on the mental level, releasing negative belief systems, negative thoughts, negative ideas about yourself, about your life, about your business, about your relationships, whatever it might be. And this particular card in the traditional tarot deck is actually the Devil card, and that doesn't need to be a scary thing. The Devil card just means that we're talking about the shadow of the ego. And the shadow of the ego is about fear, and fear is just an illusion. So if we can get past the fear because it's just an illusion and move into the idea of it's just time to make a decision. You know, if there's some sort of fear or worry or doubt that comes up, we need to dig a little bit deeper within ourselves to find out what the root cause of that is. And that's all of that Chiron moving to direct motion. That Chiron wound is connected somehow to this. So dig deeper, and it might be time to redirect the mental energies. It might be time, as this particular card says, to make a decision. That decision could solely be the decision to let go of negative ego mind thoughts, or to let go of worry, or to let go of fear. You know, that can be the decision. This could also potentially be a decision in your life to move in a new direction, take a new job, move across the country, you know, start a new relationship, and move away from the fear of what that relationship might be bringing up within you. You know, so it can take many different forms. But here with Archangel Jophiel is the archangel that helps you to connect with beauty. She's the archangel that helps you to connect with and see beauty all around you, see everything as beautiful, even the fear. If you can see the fear as beautiful, you know, and that might sound funny, but that's what neutralizes the fear. That's what neutralizes the doubt and anxiety, is by embracing it and, you know, not getting sucked into that fear, worry, or anxiety, but instead embracing it and say, what are you here to teach me, fear? What are you here to show me, anxiety? You know, why are you here? And embrace it and love it, and that dissolves it. All right, so let's take a look at, the second card here. Okay, another major arcana. So major arcana, when they come up like this, means that there's something important to be paid attention to. There's, as far as the soul's journey, the soul's path, the soul's growth and evolution. When you have lots of major arcana, there's a lot of growth involved. This is the High Priestess, major arcana 2, Archangel Haniel, the archangel that helps us connect with our psychic senses, our healing abilities, our subconscious even. And the message at the bottom says, powerful psychic insights, reflection and meditation that provides valuable information, be at peace. So this is perfect with Mercury connecting with Saturn and then challenging Chiron, and with Chiron going direct. This is a time to dig deep. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to meditate. And just like the High Priestess, dig deep within yourself to connect with your psychic insights, your psychic powers, the psychic revelations, the insights from the higher realm. The Priestess is very powerful, and the information that you seek within is potentially very powerful. It's going to provide some powerful healing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually this week. All right, let me see if there's anything else here. Something about throat chakra. I feel like a lot of you speaking your truth, communicating something is important. You might have been holding back from having a conversation with somebody for fear of being rejected or whatever. And I'm feeling throat chakra, it's time to kind of maybe consider that conversation. I'm saying consider because Mercury is retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde could be a good time to iron things out, but also Mercury retrograde can be a time where there's miscommunication and things aren't understood when you're trying to communicate them. So kind of go with your intuition as far as whether this is the right time to do the communication with someone else, or this is just a time to reflect on having that conversation soon and how it might unfold or how it might come about. All right, let's take a look at the last card here before we run out of time. And the Page of Raphael. Okay, this is like the Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. Page of Raphael. Gentle, loving, dreamy, open-hearted. A new emotional situation. Messages regarding relationships or social invitations. Great intuitive insights. So the Page of Cups is about messages of the heart, messages of an emotional nature, an emotional conversation, connecting with those people that you feel an emotional connection to. This can be about love, which is that Venus squaring Neptune that I talked about. And it's interesting that this card came up as the last card, and that Venus square Neptune is the last astrological connection of the week. So there may be some, again, emotional conversations or messages of love that comes in. I feel like some of you are in a contemplating mode. You know, it's that contemplation idea keeps coming in. So maybe you're contemplating communicating to someone else some sort of message of love or forgiveness or healing in some way, shape, or form. So pay attention to that as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at your special message before we run out of time here. All right, so again, we have the Angel Answers deck. We're going to give it a shuffle, and if you take a deep breath with me, we're going to ask for the message for the hematite people. All right, so looking for the answer, again, maybe formulating a question in your mind, hematite people. This one's kind of calling my attention. Meditation brings answers. Okay, so whatever your question was, your angels and guides want you to go within, meditate, and contemplate. Again, this is a great time with the energies. The astrology of the week really supports going deep within yourself to finding those answers. Now, meditation doesn't mean you have to sit in silence. You can sit and listen to your favorite meditation music. You could go out and take a nature walk by yourself and connect with the trees, connect with, you know, nature in some way. Maybe you want to just spend time with your pet. You know, pets are a great way to meditate because, you know, they just sit with us, they love us. You know, if it's a cat, they purr. If it's a dog, they might lick your face. But whatever, it connects us with our inner love. And that's the place that we need to go to do the meditation to find the answers that we seek. Let me see. I feel like there's, when I look at this card, I feel like there's a divine feminine energy, an angel or guide. Could be Mother Mary, could be Kuan Yin, could be an archangel like Archangel Haniel or Jophiel again, which have more of a feminine kind of nature to them, a very divine, loving, nurturing kind of nature. I feel like there's that divine mother energy that's coming to you that's going to be bringing you the messages. So ask your question, and they're saying just surrender and allow. That's the divine feminine way to receive your answers. Just surrender and allow after asking your question, and know that that answer is going to come to you. All right, for those of you that chose the gold pyrite, all right, so, you know, I'm really drawn to actually both of these cards, so I'm going to turn both of them over. Let's turn this one over first. Okay, so the message is that it's not the right time. If you were thinking about having communication, this would be, again, a very direct answer. It's not the right time. If you were thinking about starting a new business, not the right time. And I would, you know, want to confirm that because of Mercury retrograde. You never want to really start anything new during Mercury retrograde. If you're working on something you've already been working on, or you're restructuring something or redoing something, that's okay. But don't initiate, if you can at all help it, something new during Mercury retrograde. So your angels and guides are saying it's not the right time for something. Let's take a look at that second card and see if there's more information. Okay, not the right time, listen to your intuition. So the rest of the message is to listen to your intuition about when is the right time, or what is the right decision, or, you know, what is the right direction. So again, go within and listen to that intuition. Connect with your heart chakra. I'm getting heart chakra with this. Obviously, we have the green here of the angel at the heart chakra. Connect to your sense of unconditional love for yourself. As you connect to unconditional love, again, nature is a great way to connect to unconditional love. Your pets or animals are a great way to connect. Children are a great way to connect to unconditional love. As you connect to the unconditional love, it's going to heighten your intuition, and you're going to receive the answer that you're seeking. And then for those that chose the peacock ore, let's see, peacock ore people. Okay, this one is calling my attention right here. Peacock ore people. Forgiveness, okay? So this is a week to really offer forgiveness, not necessarily just to other people, but also to yourself. Forgive yourself for, you know, because there's no wrong, right? There's no right or wrong. Everything is what it is, and everything is about learning. Everything is about growing. So if you're beating up on yourself for not being further along or for making a bad decision, you know, again, there's no good or bad here. So forgive yourself, and also, again, offer that forgiveness to others. Other people sometimes hurt us, and I hear so many stories, and some of them are very heartbreaking stories, obviously. But if you can at all remember, and sometimes this is difficult to do, but if you can step outside of yourself, step outside of your ego self and step into your higher self, it can be a lot easier to offer that forgiveness to one another. Because we're all just souls, we're all on a soul journey, we're all, you know, working through our path and working through particular issues and challenges. And if we can just look at one another through the eyes of the soul, knowing that there's other souls that are challenged as well, that makes it a little bit easier to offer that energy of forgiveness to one another. All right, I hope you've liked this weekly angel card reading. I send you all much love and light and many, many angel blessings till we meet again next week. Mwah. Namaste, everyone.